What if I told you that the world's economy is shifting faster than ever, but most of us are stuck using outdated ways to understand it? The rules of money, power, and influence are changing before our eyes, yet the people at the top already know the playbook. The real question is, do you? Today, we're diving into 5 essential books that break down how money, markets, and power actually work in the modern world. Whether you're trying to understand the widening wealth gap, the rise of new superpowers, or just make sense of today's economy, these books will give you the knowledge you need, without the boring lectures. First up, a book that shook the world of economics, Capital in the 21st Century, by Thomas Piketty. Piketty dives deep into 250 years of economic data to analyze wealth accumulation. His conclusion: left unchecked, capitalism leads to extreme inequality. The wealthy don't just stay rich, they multiply their fortunes at the expense of everyone else. This isn't just about individual success. It's about how economic structures create cycles of wealth and poverty. Piketty's research reveals that unless governments intervene with taxation and redistribution policies, the gap between the ultra-rich and the working class will continue to grow. The book is heavy on data, but presents a clear, undeniable argument. The free market alone will not fix inequality. It must be addressed through policy changes. Here's the key takeaways from Piketty. Wealth accumulates faster than economic growth. The mega-rich and oligarchs get richer not because of hard work, but because they own assets that appreciate over time. Their enormous stockpiles of cash and assets don't just sit there. They quietly drain resources from the economy. It's wealth that's hoarded, locked away, and doing nothing to benefit society. Without intervention, inequality will keep growing, and the economy will no longer work for common people. Tax policies, wages, and government action play a crucial role in either stopping or accelerating wealth concentration. The best solution? A global wealth tax on the mega-wealthy. We're talking the billionaires and oligarchs. Piketty argues that only aggressive taxation on wealth, not just income, can slow inequality. If you've ever wondered why billionaires pay lower tax rates than their employees, Piketty explains why and what we can do about it. Paul Krugman's Arguing with Zombies is your shield against bad economic takes. This book is a collection of Krugman's best essays, debunking economic myths used in politics. He explains why tax cuts for the rich don't trickle down, why healthcare should be universal, and why deficits are misunderstood. It's a must-read for cutting through political nonsense. The book is particularly relevant in today's world, where economic arguments are often weaponized to push corporate-friendly policies that hurt the working class. Krugman's writing is sharp, accessible, and often humorous, making complex economic issues easy to digest. Here's the key takeaways. 1. Tax cuts for the wealthy don't stimulate the economy. The idea that tax cuts pay for themselves is a political myth, not backed by economic reality. 2. Healthcare is not just a moral issue, it's an economic one. Universal healthcare saves money in the long run by preventing costly emergency care. 3. The economy isn't just about numbers, it's about policy choices. What governments do matters more than abstract economic theories. If you're tired of politicians using misleading economic arguments, Krugman gives you the tools to fight back. In her book, In This Economy, How Money and Markets Really Work, Kayla Scanlon explores, why does the economy feel so bad, even when the data says otherwise? Scanlon explores the disconnect between official economic indicators and how people actually feel. She coins the term vibesession to describe the gap between economic data and the public's financial anxiety. This book is a fresh, modern take on finance that speaks directly to younger generations. She breaks down the financial struggles of millennials and Gen Z, showing why rising costs, debt burdens, and job insecurity make traditional economic measures like GDP growth feel irrelevant. Unlike traditional finance books, this one is written in a conversational, engaging style. perfect for those who want to understand money without the jargon. Here's some takeaways. 1. Perception matters. Even if GDP is growing, if people feel broke, the economy is failing them. 2. Wages aren't keeping up with costs. Inflation and stagnant wages create an economy where people feel stuck. 3. Finance should be accessible. Scanlon argues that we need to change how we talk about money to make economic literacy mainstream. If you've ever felt like you're doing everything right but still struggling, this book explains why. Why do some countries rise while others fall? Peter Zeihan says geography is destiny in his book, The Accidental Superpower. 10 years on. Zeihan argues that America's dominance is no accident. It has natural resources, defensible borders, and a prime location for global trade. Meanwhile, other superpowers, like China and Russia, face economic and demographic crises that could limit their rise. His argument challenges the popular narrative that America is in decline, instead making the case that other nations are facing far greater obstacles. With a mix of history, geopolitics, and economic analysis, Zeihan paints a future where global power shifts dramatically, and the U.S. remains a key player due to its natural advantages. Zeihan's key takeaways. First, geography shapes power. Second, the United States has unbeatable natural advantages that make it the world's most secure economic power. Demographics determine the future. And third, countries with aging populations, like China and Germany, will struggle in the coming decades. Globalization is ending. Zeihan predicts a retreat from global supply chains, making self-sufficiency more important than ever. If you want to understand why countries rise and fall, this book explains the forces driving global power shifts. In This Changes Everything: Capitalism versus the Climate, Naomi Klein argues that the biggest threat to our economy isn't inflation or debt, it's climate change. Klein connects capitalism and climate destruction, showing how fossil fuel companies shape policies that put profits over the planet. She argues that tackling climate change requires a complete overhaul of our economic systems. Unlike many environmental books, this one doesn't just focus on scientific data, it lays out the political and financial interests that actively resist change. Klein details how corporations have hijacked climate discussions, promoting greenwashed solutions that do little to address the real problem. Her book is a call to action, urging readers to recognize that climate solutions will require systemic, not individual, change. Here's the key takeaways. Firstly, the same forces that create inequality drive climate change. Fossil fuel billionaires and corporate interests block meaningful change. Secondly, green energy isn't just possible, it's necessary. Investing in renewable energy can create jobs and reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Lastly, big business won't save us. The free market won't fix climate change. Only strong policies and public pressure will. If you want to understand why climate action is so slow, follow the money. These 5 books paint a bigger picture. Money, power, and influence don't operate in a vacuum. The way we structure our economy, the myths we believe, and the global forces at play all shape our daily lives. Whether it's rising inequality, financial uncertainty, global power struggles, or the fight for climate action, understanding these forces gives you the power to navigate and challenge the system. Think about it. Piketty shows us why wealth inequality keeps growing. Krugman exposes the myths that keep bad policies alive. Scanlon reveals why the economy feels broken, even when the numbers say otherwise. Zeihan maps out which nations will rise and fall in the coming decades. And Klein uncovers how corporate interests are blocking real solutions to the climate crisis. At the end of the day, knowledge is power. And if you want to make sense of the world, whether for financial security, smarter political decisions, or just to see through the noise, these books are the best place to start. Which of these books interests you the most? Have you read any of them? Drop a comment below. And if you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into money, power, and the forces shaping our world. I'm Holbrook, please like and subscribe.